Hello viewers and welcome to the first episode of GPL on the couch. Matt?
Yes, on the couch.
On the couch.
Love the new setting, Nick.
Thank you. I've spent a good 15 minutes on this and hopefully you can pick up all the details.
Props are good, mood lighting's good. I like it.
I'm a little bit in the dark, but I think that's probably a good thing. Okay, Matt, this is the, I've gone for a kind of report, school term. I'm going to give each team grades based on how they've performed and how we probably expected them to perform throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start off with the women's comp, who have actually finished their home and away season.
Yep.
They've had 5 rounds. We'll go through it in, let's say, alphabetical order. So first up we have the Chicks with Sticks. They finished on the ladder 3rd position, 3 wins, 2 losses. They were knocked out of the KO in week 3 and they've had the equal least points against them. So they've had a pretty good draw.
Okay.
The better players for the season were Anne English, who had 2 34s, and Karen Hill, who had a 33 and a 36. They actually only had 8 players perform out of their 10, so 2 of their women did not actually contribute a score, Matt.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Questions next year?
Yeah, I'm not sure on the recruitment of those 2. Look, Matt, I give the Chicks with Sticks a B+.
Mm-hmm.
They've made it into the semi-final, so because we only had 5 teams this year, the top 3 go through.
Yes.
So the Chicks with Sticks, they're still in the big dance.
Yep.
So B+ from me.
Nice. My first team is last year's champs, the Dragon Ladies. A lot of pressure coming in as last year's champs, but they've seemed to held themselves pretty well. They finished second on the ladder at the end of the season with 3-2, a 3-2 record. Knocked out in week 5.
So they were knocked out in the last week.
Yeah, it was stiff, unlucky, but they've had the most points for the season, so they've actually scored really well.
And by a long margin, Matt, they had the most points by about 30
Wow.
than any of the other teams.
Yeah.
So they've scored really well.
Good players throughout the season was EJ Park and Sue Hua, which were basically the staple for last year's team. So the Dragon Ladies are looking pretty comfortable finals-wise for a repeat.
And what grade would you give them, Matt?
I would give them an A.
An A?
Yeah.
Okay, pretty good.
Yeah, pressure coming in.
Yeah.
Finished second on the ladder.
Just missed out the knockout.
Just missed out the knockout.
Yeah.
Not much more that I can actually do.
Okay, pretty solid. Well done, Dragon Ladies. Good luck for the finals. Next team, Fairway Fillies. These women love GPL more than life itself, but unfortunately they probably want to forget the 2018 season. They finished 5th on the ladder, a record of 2-3. They scored the least points out of anyone.
Yep.
And they were knocked out in week 4, so they remained in the Survivor comp for a while. Kerry Smith and Sue Davey were the shining lights. Sue Davey had a couple of 29s and a 36 that counted, and Kerry Smith had a couple of 30s. There's a couple of ladies there probably want to forget their season, putting a little bit of heat on.
Mm-hmm.
Jill Darling had a pretty big 2017.
Yep.
Will be looking to come back again, kind of fight a bit harder in 2019.
With season length, they were sort of 1 game out of second, really, and ended up finishing 5th. So
yeah, it's pretty harsh.
They were pretty harsh, the Fairway Fillies.
So I give them a C.
C.
Good.
Yep. Moving on to the next team, hit and miss. They've been fairly consistent since the GPL has been in play.
2016 champs,
yes,
I believe.
Yep, so only a few short years ago. They've finished 4th on the ladder with, again, a score of win-loss record of 3-2. They were knocked out in week 1 of the knockout, and they had unfortunately, the most points against.
So it's a tough fixture.
Yeah, tough draw. So a couple of good performances throughout the year. Bev Murray and Meredith Durry.
The consistency of Bev Murray, always 35, 32, 32.
Yes.
If they were to get a grade, Matt?
I would say a C.
Given that they are, you call a pretty solid team.
Yeah, they
former champions.
Expected probably more from the hit and miss, and they didn't quite get it done. So C.
And final team in the comp, the Early Birds, finished the season 1st on the ladder, a record of 4-1. They won the knockout series.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the 3rd year in a row they've won the Survivor.
Really?
Yeah, so they've done the treble.
Yep.
Equal least points against, so maybe a favourable fixture.
Yep.
But they also had the 2nd most points for.
Okay.
Sally Stockley, who's had a pretty good start to 2018, had a 39 in the first round, and their captain, Hilary Hodgetts, and also women's captain, 33, 34, 39 from the 3 rounds she's played, so massive from her. As they finish first on the ladder, they're straight through to the grand final.
Mm-hmm.
And they will play the winner of the Dragon Ladies and Chicks with Sticks.
Yep.
So the early birds for me, that's an A+, Matt.
Yeah, I would give them an A+ too if they get through and win the big dance. So they've been good. It's going to be interesting. And so who have we got in the finals, in the semi-final, to actually face the early birds?
So we've got the second place Dragon Ladies,
Yep.
last year's champs, versus the third place Chicks with Sticks, and the winner of that match goes through to play the early birds. It's tough to bet against the early birds given their last 3 seasons. Survivors, pretty consistent.
Yep.
But
Who do you think gets through?
I think the Dragon Ladies will get through
Yep.
the Chicks with Sticks, and then I think the early birds will finally break through and become champions of GPL. If you're going to say it's an upset, aren't you?
I will.
Yeah.
I will. I'll think the Dragon Ladies will get through, and because they know how to do it before, as they did it last year,
Back to back.
I'll stick Dragon Ladies.
Okay. Now, Matt, let's move on to the men.
Yes.
Same kind of format. We'll do
Yep.
the gradings. And first up is the Ada's Army,
Ada's Army.
which is my team, so I better not say anything here.
The ladder finished 10th on the ladder, so a fairly disappointing season so far for Ada's Army. One and
haven't
5
finished 10th
record.
Matt. Haven't finished 10th. We're still
Currently
going.
10.
Currently
1
10th.
and 5 record.
Yeah.
In the knockout though, still alive. So interesting.
Very.
That they're currently 10th on the ladder,
Yep.
which is last.
Thank you for that. Yep.
And had the most points against,
Tough draw.
but still are in the knockout. Now, in looking at their players, the players that have had relatively good seasons so far are Bernie Carmody and Brian Padbury.
Both former Moondogs.
Yes.
Saw the light.
The players that have been disappointing, their captain, big star recruit, and Lunnington.
Yeah. 37 round one
Thoughts?
though, Matt.
Thoughts?
37 round one. 34 round two.
Backed it up with 228s following that. Thoughts? There
Uh,
has been whispers around the traps that their big gun recruit and captain has been full.
Yeah, look, no comment.
Yep.
Don't have anything, you know. Started off like a house on fire, and I was trying to bend a little bit of salt to some people, and have since then have copped abuse for the last month,
Right.
and probably rightfully so.
Grade for the Ada's Army, C minus for me. Been poor, led poorly, poor.
Yeah, look, yeah. Well, I reckon, here you go, we'll win the knockout.
Okay.
There you go, just throwing that out there.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I think we've been very harsh draw, most points against us. And there's a little stat about Ada's Army that we'll get to a bit later on.
Okay, sure.
All right, gentlemen golfers, who would have seen this coming? 4th on the ladder currently. They've got a record of 4 wins and 2 losses. They've been cut from the knockout. We've had good performances from David Pryor, who's had a 34, 38, 39, 39, 32. Very solid scoring. Their captain, Frank Davis, has had 2 35s and a 37. And Jeff Orton also had a 37, a couple of 33s, 36 and a 34. So they've had some really solid performances.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Taylor and Bob Weeks, for me, probably need to just maybe lift it a little bit. A lot of 28s and 27s.
Yep.
But for me, considering that they're normally bottom dwellers on the ladder, I'd give the gentlemen golfers an 8.
Yeah, I think they've been good.
Yeah.
4th, they're in the mix.
Yeah.
4 and 2.
Just exceeding expectations generally.
I would have thought so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well done, GGs. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Well done. Next team, Motley Q. Current ladder position is 9th, 2 and 4 record. Been cut from the knockout.
It's not sounding good.
No, and scored the least amount of points. So the good performances, and we'll stick with the positives first. We've got Bruce Deeth and Paul Cranich. Paul Cranich with a 41, Bruce Deeth with a 39 have been the highlight for their team. A couple of guys that need to lift. Stu Hillier is probably one that could lift.
No score over 30, mate.
No score over 30.
That hurts.
Considering the fact that they are 9th on the ladder and have been knocked out of the KO, I have given them a D.
Yeah, and I have to admit, Matt, I was looking at Rob Smithwick and was going to recruit him in Ada's Army. Thank God it didn't. He scored twice for 25 and 22.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bullet dodged by Ada's Army.
Yes.
Sorry, Rob. Moving on, Norfolk and Good. Ladder, 5th position, 3 and 3. They've been cut from the knockout, but they've got the best percentage in the league. despite sitting 5th, and they've also the second most points.
Okay.
So the Norfolk and Good scoring well. Brendan Waddy's only played 3 times, but has gone 34, 34, 40. And Jim Lutus has played all 6 rounds and hasn't got a score below 30.
Had a big year last year, Jim, didn't he?
I think he was an all-star, and judging by this form, will probably be again.
Yes.
John Colosimo and Phil Raftery, 2 recruits that probably haven't lifted. Phil plays golf 9 days a week and has only had 2 scores over 30. So Phil, need to stop looking at the pace of play and maybe just work on the golf swing. I'll give them a B+.
Yep.
Harsh on Phil?
Probably, but deserved.
Okay, moving on.
Moving on, who pretty much the Sydney Swans of the GPL, really. They're always there
It's
about.
annoying.
They're just there. They'll be whips cracking. They'll be there again.
Yep.
And that's a Rat Pack. They're currently 3rd in the ladder, 4-2 record, still alive in the knockout, and scored the most points. So there's a lot of positives.
They're a juggernaut.
Sitting around 3rd, so well placed. We have Bren Collinson having a good season so far, and
Good
Brian
recruitment.
Brian Fuge and Trevor Rush. Couple of the guys that could lift and need to lift. George Cotorides, the senior pennant manager. Possibly some work to be
Does
done
he get a
there.
leave pass because he got the boys up in the seniors?
Possibly. And Ian Mills is the other one that needs to. Had 3 scores, lower score of 16. So Millsy, you need to lift. B+, currently in 3rd. Yeah, they're thereabouts.
They're going pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what we expect from the Rat
Which
Pack.
what we expect, which is probably
Yeah. Fockers, ladder position 7th, 2 and 4. Still alive in the knockout though. They've had the 3rd lowest points out of any team. However, the 2016 Brownlow winner, MVP, Peter Lutton, hasn't had a score below 32.
Yeah, so
he
he's
could be repeating some form from earlier years.
He's holding them together.
The Fockers last year would probably be remembered best for going out in the final straight sets.
Yep.
So probably disappointing by their standards because they're normally in the top half of the ladder. So I give them a C.
How's it, our man The Rock going?
The Rock, 22, 23, 30, 30. So he is, not much of a pebble, more of a giant boulder. Yeah. And my man, Bruce Faulkner, Mr. Consistent, 35, 31, 37, 35, 36.
Yep.
He just does it week in, week out.
Yep.
He is the man.
Yep.
Fockers get a C from me.
Right. Now, next team, the Guzzlers. Last year's champs, very chirpy. Currently 1st in the ladder with a 5-1 record. So they're backing up what they're saying. The KO, they've been cut. They've had the lowest points against.
Least points against, yeah.
Yep.
So it's a bit easy draw.
And Ada's Army, this is interesting stat.
I did
Ada's
say it was
Army,
coming.
who are currently last on the ladder, have had more points than the
Soft
Guzzlers.
draw.
So the first
Soft draw
team
for the
versus the
Guzzlers.
last team, they've had more points than the first team,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
It is an interesting stat. Who's been good, Matt, and who's been bad?
Mark Hanger has been solid with 30, 38, 38,
They're
36.
2017 All-Star.
Yep. Gear Bricky has also been very good as well with a score of 40. Very, very good.
Possibly has the best nickname in GPL, Cocoa Pops.
Right.
Cocoa Pops for Brecky.
Right.
It's a good
Nice. Not surprisingly, some of the players that are letting the Guzzlers down, which is fairly consistent throughout the seasons. The Colonel, Jay Nelson.
Hasn't had a score.
Yeah, and Ravi.
Son of Ravi.
Son of Ravi, Rick Goal, has also been ordinary too with 22, 27. So the Guzzlers, I'm going to give them a B+, which some people might think is harsh considering they're on top of the ladder, but
Have been cut.
have been cut from the KO. We expected big things as past champions, so
Maybe a false first, do you think?
yeah, look, and their points, they need to lift their points if they're going to win this year. So B+ for me.
Okay.
Good season so far, but they're still probably a little bit off.
Slight
from where they
question
need
mark,
to be.
maybe. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. The Last Emperors, newly formed team this year. one of two newly formed teams this year. Second on the ladder, 5-1 record, still alive in the KO. They've had the second least points against them, so a pretty solid draw, and they've had the fourth most points out of any team. Chris Wong, 38, 38, 34, 37, 33, and their captain Tektia has had 38, 36, 34, and hasn't been below 30, Matt. A couple of guys, the 2017 Captain's Trophy winner Dan Tan probably hasn't been as good as he would have liked, and also Peter Yap's only played 2 games, so that makes it hard. However, though, second on the ladder, 5-1, still alive in the knockout, newly formed team. I give them an A+, man.
They've been good.
They've been really very solid.
Next team is one of the stalwarts of the GPL competition, the Polishers. Currently 6th on the ladder, so playing finals as we speak. 2-4. Their record isn't great. They've been cut from the KO. They've got other 7 need to lift because 3 of their players have had 200+ points.
So those 3 guys are carrying a lot of the scoring.
They are. So looking at their player profiles, we've got our man Brendan Moore, Mad Dog, 201. So he's had a big season so far. Glenn Dugdale is also over the 200 mark. Phil McCrone has been really good as well. A couple of players that need to lift. Phil Abbott has only played the 3 games, and Keith Knox has just played the 2 games. So probably more playing from those 2 guys for a little bit more assistance to some of the others.
Sure.
I would give them a C. I expect a lot from the Polishers each year.
Yeah, 100%.
Currently they're 6th. They're 6th in the ladder, so not out of it. But I'd expect more coming into the later rounds.
Bottom tier guys need to just get on the park, put some scores in.
They're going to be dangerous come finals time.
If they get in, if they stay in that 6th spot, they can knock off anyone.
Lastly,
Matt, we have the Roosters, 8th on the ladder. They are 2-4. They've been cut from the knockout. They've had 3 incomplete scores. They just can't get guys on the course. So rounds 2, 3, and 4, they had one. Steve Kay was the only player in round 2. They only had 3 in round 3 and only had 4 in round 4. Wow. So that makes it hard to get some wins.
Recruiting strategy needs to be questioned.
Surely. And of the 3 other matches that actually got full teams, they've won 2. So if they actually get their guys playing, they will win some games.
Yes.
Better players, Ray Catmull. When I say better players, it's because they're actually turning up. I'm not saying that Ray's had a super season. Steve Kay's been pretty solid. 35, 34, 33, 32, 32. So his scores counting each week. Simon Anglis has only played 2 games. You think out of the head pro. Probably should be able to work his hours, make sure he gets on the course. And Kenny Doggett and John Evans probably would be lamenting their season so far. I give the Roosters a C-. That might be harsh, but I think Cut haven't really scored that well, and so far just struggling to get guys on the course.
Benefit is that they're just sitting outside the top 6, so the season isn't lost.
No.
The season really isn't lost for anyone at the moment.
What about Aiders Army?
They're gone.
They're gone?
Yeah. Led poorly.
Okay. Well, Matt, that about wraps it up for our first episode of 2018. Probably won't be our last on GPL on the Couch.
No, it'll be a little bit more regular from here on in. When the towards the finals.
Towards the pointy end of the season when it really matters. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.